I've been an addict for about 12, 13 years. And that spiral was kind of really starting to go to a dead end, basically. Hi, my name is Martin.
Kristen.
Dominic. Mary.
And this is my story of hope.
And this is our story of hope.
And this is my story of hope.
Y esta es nuestra historia de esperanza.
And this is my story of hope. I had no physical activity. I had no social connection with anybody. I was basically just shutting myself in my room and hiding from the world. And so that was definitely taking its toll. I mean, doing that for years and years on end. And there's no getting out of it. There's no light at the end of the tunnel when I'm in that kind of headspace. It's just dark, and then eventually I'm gonna die, and that's basically it. As I kind of went through rehab, one of the things they really focused on was physical health being a part of our recovery. And so that kind of became a very important focus for me. I started getting into work again, finally. I think it was Brandon who I initially was like, well, if you're looking for a healthy place to work, we're looking for someone to just come in for a couple hours and help clean up, take care of things. And I've just been here ever since, actually. What really got me coming to the Y after I started working here was the fact that Kim told me, a month after you've been here, you've got a free membership. And I could not run away from the fact that if I have a free membership, I better be using it. Because telling people that, oh yeah, I got free membership to a gym, but I don't use it, just did not sound good. A little bit before I started working here, I was out of my program, but I wasn't working. And so I was kind of in this weird middle section of my recovery, where I didn't really know what to do with myself. And one of the things that got pinpointed really on early for me was setting simple goals that were attainable. And the simplest thing I could come up with was, if I go to the Y and walk on a treadmill, I cannot screw that up. And so that it was right about then that started perking in my brain. So then I started coming, 2-3 days a week. And it was right at that transition kind of point when I got the job here. And so now I had a free membership. And so why not be here every day? If I wasn't gonna screw it up coming in and walking on the treadmill one day, I could do that every day. And I could count that as a win every day. So when I first started coming here, I was strictly a treadmill. I would get on the treadmill and walk 20 minutes, half an hour, and not very quickly. I was literally in that, I just need to show up, I need to put in my half an hour, and then I can call it myself good. And as I did that more and more, there was this little part of me that started kind of yelling, oh, if I'm doing this, I could lift a weight too. So maybe I'll lift a weight and then walk on the treadmill. And so I started with the one on the end, and I worked through 5 machines, and then walked on the treadmill. And then the next day I came in, I started where I left off and worked on 5 machines, and then got on the treadmill. And I did that for months. And then I started thinking, well, this is going well. So maybe I'll run some, or maybe I'll use the stair climber, which kills me every time. And that kind of gave me some emotional stability and it started making me feel a little bit physically more comfortable with myself. I could go for a jog, I could lift some weights. Well, I can do that. Well, so I can do a little bit more. Now I can do a full workout. The best thing about the Y and working with my sobriety was it was such a natural part of the next step. If I felt trapped in my room, easiest way to get out of there was, okay, well, I'm feeling stuck, I'll go to the Y for half an hour. And then by the time I get back, I'll feel different. I live my life flying by the seat of my pants, or at least I have for a long time. And this place really served as an anchor. That's been a huge part of what the gym has provided, not just me, but our family. Now I feel like I have my feet underneath me. And now I can start reaching for something else. And so for me, what that was going to school. If I didn't have this kind of rock to be standing on, that would have been so much more harder. What's really interesting to think about is that it's been great the way things have worked out, but it's also kind of terrifying to think about where we would be if we didn't have the Y. And, well, to be honest, I wouldn't be here probably alive today if we hadn't found the Y. Now I'm almost here every single day, except for every once in a while I'll take a day off, but every day is a win that I come in here. I mean, everything else might be falling apart in my life. Not that it is at the moment, but that's the nice thing, is that even if it is falling apart in my life, I still accomplished something good that was the right thing to do today. And there's something awesome about that. The only thing that I would impart to people if they're going through something like this, or if they're struggling with something in their life, was very early on in my recovery, the one thing that I was really good at was showing up. And if I could inspire anybody to kind of embrace that message, for a long time I didn't show up in my life. I didn't, show up anywhere. I just hid. And it started in rehab. That was one of the things, is I had to show up every day. It didn't matter how bad things were. Didn't matter if I was relapsing. Didn't matter if my life was falling apart. I had to show up. I had to be counted. I had to participate. The best part about that kind of mentality of showing up was there doesn't have to be anything after that. If all I do is show up, that's enough. Just show up. If I do it enough times, eventually I'm bound to say hello to somebody. I show up and say hello enough times, I'm bound to have a conversation with somebody. I have enough conversations, I'm bound to have a connection. And as long as I just keep showing up for these every day, I can make a life out of this. The way the Y brings me hope, and I think I've said it already a couple of times, but it gives me a reason to get out of bed. I used to dread the mornings, because I'd open my eyes and think, God, here's another day that I have to trudge through. I have to make it to the end of this one so that I can make it through the end of the next one. When I wake up in the mornings now, I actually have something to look forward to. I get to get up, I get to have my breakfast, my cup of coffee, I get to go to school, and then I get to go to the Y. And that's as close as I can define hope, actually, is to have a reason to give a damn about my life, to keep showing up, to care. And so that's what gives me hope about the Y. I'm Martin, and I'm reclaiming my life. I'm a little sweaty though. Thanks.
Starting the group hug, everybody.
I'm a little sweaty. These lights are hot.
You're fine.
Well, and we're gonna get you up too.
Close your